Okay, so this is a new unit. We're going to be talking about employee compensation components. So what makes up your compensation when you have a job? So we're going to define employee benefits. We're going to analyze various types of income, deductions, and how they impact take-home pay. And we're going to describe work-related forms. Okay, so first we're going to talk about compensation. So compensation, as the definition is here, is a systematic method for providing monetary and non-monetary value to employees in exchange for services provided to the organization. So compensation entails not just your wages and what you bring home, your salary, but also any other benefits and perks that you might receive from that job. So we're going to talk about what your compensation package is. A lot of times you'll hear that's your compensation package. So compensation, this is usually salaries and benefits are usually one of the largest expenses for any company is the people. So a lot of times when companies have to cut back, then they have to cut back on salaries. They have to lay people off because that's their biggest expense. So compensation can achieve several purposes. So companies use compensation to recruit and retain employees. They want to keep good employees. If you're a good employee, they want you to stay with their company. So they're going to use compensation, benefits and perks to motivate and reward an employee for job performance. And then they use it to increase and maintain organizational effectiveness. Because most people are always motivated by money. So some of the things that compensation includes are, of course, your wages and salaries, and that's how much money you make. And then you have bonuses or incentives, maybe financial incentives. Then companies offer paid leave for vacation, so they give you paid vacation and sick days. They also offer health insurance, health savings accounts, flexible spending accounts, life insurance, retirement plans. Retirement plans like 401k plans most companies offer, disability insurance, workers' compensation, profit sharing, and stock options. These are a few of the main things that make up a compensation package. Some companies offer all of these, some only a few. So wages refers to the compensation paid to the employee. So this is how much money you get. It's also known as gross wage. So this is how much you get paid before they take any deductions out. So in other words, the example is Mark makes $15 an hour and he worked 34 hours. So you multiply 15 times 34 and Mark's gross wage is $510. But he doesn't bring this home because they have to take out all the deductions. So his gross pay is what he makes before any deductions. So wages allows an employee to receive overtime pay if they work more than 40 hours in a week. So if you're paid hourly, if you're an hourly employee, then if you work more than 40 hours in 1 week, then the company must pay you overtime. And they usually pay 1.5 times what your regular hourly rate would be. So here's the example. Vance earns $12 per hour and worked 3 hours overtime last week. So the $12 an hour times 1.5 times 3 is $54. So he earned $54 in overtime for that week. So companies typically don't like to pay overtime. Sometimes they have to get the job done, but because overtime is going to cost the company more money because they're paying you time and a half what you would normally make. And then commission refers to the sum of money paid to an employee upon the completion of a task. So it's paid as a percentage of the sale or as a flat dollar amount based on sales volume. So a lot of salespeople get commission. So car salesmen typically will get commission, real estate agents, stockbrokers a lot of times will get commission. They might get a base pay plus commission, or it might be all commission. So here's an example of commission. Kyle is a car salesman, and he sold a $38,000 car to a happy couple and will make 10% commission. So they're going to pay him 10% of the price of the car for every car he sells. So you would multiply $38,000 times 10%, and Kyle earned $3,800 for selling that car. So you can see why when you go in to buy a car, car dealers, car salesmen are pretty pushy sometimes, because that's money in their pocket. They know if they sell you that car, they're going to make money. So that motivates them to try to sell you more. Commission allows highly motivated individuals to earn a substantial income. And it's used by employers a lot of times as an incentive to increase work productivity. So at the car dealership, the owner of that car dealership makes the more money the more cars that they sell, the more money he makes. So sometimes they use that incentive so that the salesman will try to sell as many cars as they can. If you are a highly motivated person and you're good at sales, then you can make a lot of money at any job that is any type of sales job. And then salary refers to non-hourly employees. So some people are paid just a base salary. So teachers are paid once a month. We get a salary. So we don't get any overtime. So no matter how many hours we work, we get paid no extra. So there's no overtime typically for salaried employees. Usually salaried employees have a better benefit package typically. Not always, but sometimes they do. But they do not receive overtime. So an example, Jennifer is a salaried employee and she makes $45,000 per year and is paid on a bi-weekly basis. So bi-weekly is every other week, so there's 52 weeks in a year, so you divide that by 2 for every other week, and that's 26. So she gets paid, 24 pay periods. $18.75 for each. Actually, bi-weekly would be 26 pay periods. So like I said before, salaried employees may have better access to benefit packages and retirement plan options, larger bonuses, and more paid vacation. They may be exempt for receiving overtime. So again, salaried employees, no matter how many hours they work, they still get paid the same thing. So bonuses or incentives are a form of financial compensation linked to employee performance, and they're meant to motivate employees to exceed organizational expectations. So bonuses are different than commission because they might be tied to performance. So maybe you have a sales quota of a certain amount, and if you make that sales quota, then you get paid a bonus. Or, some companies pay Christmas bonuses because they're saying thank you for, staying with the company and doing a good job. Then paid leave is time allowed away from work for holidays. So most companies have some paid holidays. They pay people if they have so many sick days that they pay if you're out sick, then they'll pay you for that. They may have some personal days where you can take care of personal days. And then they have vacation. Most companies, you might start out with a week's vacation or 2 weeks vacation, and maybe after you work there for more years, they'll give you another week's vacation. Most of the time, it's granted to full-time employees. So paid time leave, time off. Okay, health insurance lessens the financial burden individuals may experience as a result of medical expenses. So companies have to offer some type of health insurance plan to their employees, and the cost varies from employer to employer. Some plans are more cost effective than others. Some companies pay more than others do of their health insurance. So health insurance has to be offered to employees who work at least 40 hours a week, unless they have less than 50 employees. And this was the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act, which typically some people call Obamacare. With most employers with 50 or less have to provide some type of health insurance plan, or they will receive a fine or a penalty. And then health savings accounts allows individuals to set aside money in a personal account to use for qualified health care expenses. So you can set aside part of your salary and they don't tax it, so it's a tax benefit to you. And then you can use that money tax-free for health-related expenses, such as medication or anything that has to do with health. And then flexible spending accounts work similar to health savings accounts, but the account belongs to the employer and deposits are not taxed. So the difference in a flexible spending accounts provide employees access to their annual allotment at any time, whereas health and savings accounts require the funds to be in the account to be accessible. So some companies offer a flexible spending account and some employers offer a health savings account. And then life insurance. Some companies offer life insurance at a reduced rate for their employees, so that if something were to happen to you, then you have a beneficiary on your life insurance policy. So if something were to happen to you, then, or you passed away, died, then whoever that you list as your beneficiary would receive that amount of money that you had designated as life insurance. So for instance, if you had a $200,000 life insurance policy that you paid for through your work, then and you left your husband or wife as the beneficiary, then if something happened to you, you died, then they would give the $200,000 to your spouse, your husband or wife. And life insurance is important because if you're married and you both work and you both depend on both of your incomes, then if something happens to one of you, it creates a financial burden for the other person because they've lost your income. So this is a way to help bridge that gap. So maybe they could pay their house off or, keep them going for a while. So life insurance. Then retirement plans. 401k is the most popular type of retirement plan, and if most companies, bigger companies, will offer some type of plan like a 401k. In a 401k plan, the employee contributes a certain percentage of their salary, and then the company usually matches it, or they'll match up to a certain percentage. So this is a very good plan for retirement. If you leave the company, most of the time, if you've worked there long enough, then that goes with you. That money goes with you. At least the portion that you've put in will always go with you. But so retirement plans, at least 401k plans, if you ever are offered that, make sure you take advantage of that. there are two categories of retirement plans. One is the contribution plan, which is a 401k plan, and then there are pension plans, and pension plans you don't contribute to, the employer just contributes to, and when you retire, they pay you a certain percentage of your salary. Pension plans, a lot of companies do not have pension plans anymore. There's not very many companies who do pension plans anymore. Most companies have just went to the contribution plan, which is the 401k plan. And the disability insurance provides employees a full or partial salary if they become unable to work due to illness or injury. So if you're not able to work for whatever reason, then if you have disability insurance through your work, then they will pay you a certain percentage of your salary while you're out of work, recuperating from your illness or injury. And then workers' compensation provides wage replacement and medical benefits to employees if you get hurt on the job. So if I trip over a backpack and fall down and break my leg and I have to be off work for a while, then the school will pay me while I'm out and will take care of my medical bills. So workers' compensation is required by companies. So they have to provide this benefit to you in case you get hurt on the job. There's some exceptions to that, but very few. And then profit sharing just means that some companies have an account that they set up for you, and if they make a profit through the year, then they share that profit with their employees. So they'll put a percentage of money from their profits into your profit sharing account. So this is a very good benefit. Not a lot of companies do this. So if you work for a company that provides profit sharing account, then this is a very good benefit to have. If they don't make a profit, they don't have to contribute to the plan. So profit sharing. And then stock options are a type of equity compensation granted by companies to their employees and executives. So stock options usually is granted to higher level employees or executives of a company. So for instance, if a stock option would be if you work for, we'll say, Coca-Cola, and they're going to offer stock options to their employees. So they might say, we're going to give you 100 stock options, which represents one share of the company, and we're going to give you 100 shares as a stock option, but you have at $30 a share, okay? But you have to hold those shares. You can't exercise or you can't sell them until 3 years from now. So after 3 years, if the stock has went up from $30 a share to $100 a share, then you make 100 times 100 shares that they gave you. So that's a very good benefit for stock options if a company offers stock options and they're a profitable company. So some objectives of the benefit programs: they want to improve morale. They want to make sure everybody's happy working there. So they use all of these benefits in their compensation package to keep workers happy. They don't want you to grumble and complain. They want you to be healthy and safe at work. They want to attract good employees. They want to reduce turnover. It costs companies money to retrain people, so they want good people to stay with their company. And they want to maintain a competitive position, and they want to enhance the organization's image. All of those things are objectives of the benefit program.